So Scarlett, you said something very, very important to me that I've just been on it for the past maybe 6 months to a year, and that's investors and social impact. And I'm talking about social impact investors. We have the banks, we have the financial institutions who have their requirements. We have the community foundations or the family foundations that also have their requirements. But I'm really really interested in getting what I call the social impact investors, the regular run of the mill people who are out there, especially with the billionaires and multi-billionaires who have moved to Florida, in particular South Florida. How do we get them involved in what our needs are, as specific as it leads to these SDGs? How do we get them involved? I'm trying to look at ways in order to do that. I'd be interested to hear your idea on social impact investors.
I love it. So we also work with impact investors, right? Impact investing is those investors that use money for good, right? They invest in companies that are, working on technologies such as clean water, renewable energy, right? Or they're being very conscious about labor laws and how gender plays a role. How do we make sure that women have leadership positions? But to answer one of your questions is because it's a difficult one, and that's what we're trying to build in October for UN Day, which I'll send you invitations.
Please.
Host a high-level discussion with philanthropists, not just from Miami, but from other parts of the world, that can come and share what they're doing in terms of supporting communities through the SDGs framework, right? So it's philanthropy and the SDGs. But one particular program that I would love to share with you and pick your brain. So the last year, the winner of the SDG challenge was the Miami-Dade Beacon Council.
Okay.
We are just so proud and happy that they're on board with they've been supportive of us since the first challenge in 2023, but they joined the challenge that last year, and the program that won is because of the impact that it was going to have. So the students that created that program is called the SDG Immersion Program, and what they're going to be doing is the Miami-Dade Beacon Council is going to formally adopt the SDGs.
Oh, really? Okay, good. I'm
Yes.
glad to hear that.
Yes, that's for
that.
us. Not only is a big win for for the work that we do, but also for the region, because that means that a lot of companies and a lot of institutions are going to probably start paying attention, right?
And that also means that as the Beacon Councils in Miami-Dade County, their main job is to import companies to bring jobs and businesses here into the Miami-Dade County. So I'm assuming as they recruit these companies to come in and corporations to come in, they're going to be mentioned in the SDGs.
You are so brilliant. Absolutely.
I would hope so.
The plan is to also develop. So we're going to build internal capacity at the Beacon Council. We're going to train them and educate them on the SDGs internally, right? The entire staff. But also externally, we're going to be creating an SDG pledge for companies to champion one or
Okay,
two
I love
SDGs.
this. I love this. I'm glad to hear that the Beacon Council is on board. That's a great partnership, especially since their sole job is to recruit companies and corporations to come in and bring jobs into the area. Bringing up the SDGs, I think, is a huge deal in their overall presentation to inviting these companies to bring their business here.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about the SDGs, not because I've seen them in action, is that it's a global agenda. There's no political inclination in this agenda. It's not red, it's not blue. We are, a nonprofit, so by law we need to be nonpartisan. So that's the beautiful thing, right? It's not, you can support this agenda without getting into the politics, right? So that's why I think it's so powerful that, the Beacon Council is going to be, championing the SDGs, and other companies and entities will follow. The other thing that I wanted to share, also mention, because you brought that up, is that yes, a lot of companies are moving here, but when we do this work, we want them to see that Miami is their community. It's not just a money-making opportunity. How do you invest in the community that you live and that you're probably going to be working for many years to come, hopefully? But how can you be part of that community, right? So it's funny because when the people started moving during the pandemic into Miami, one of my board chair would say, the best way to see if people are really, really committed to Miami, if they change their voting address. That's how they're going to be, committed to Miami, right? Because they're going to be able to vote, and they're going to be able to select the candidates that are going to represent us the best. So I think that it's I say this to say that that's how we're looking at this work, right? how do we make sure that the people that are coming here, it's open for business, but it's also open for investments in our community?
So along those lines, as something I said earlier about the billionaires and multimillionaires who are moving to South Florida, those individuals, the public, when they move here, they become the public. Are you addressing those individuals as well, not just the corporations they work for or own? Are you addressing those individuals as well as far as the SDGs are concerned?
That's what we want to do. That's why we're planning this big event in October to invite those big individuals. And for better or worse, we tend in Miami. I'm from Miami. This is my home. We tend to look at other places first to see what we can do in Miami. So that's why when we say we activate networks, we bring people from other parts of the world, right, to come to Miami and show us, okay, or tell us, show best practices. This is how we're doing it in, I don't know, in the Netherlands or in Spain. It might not be the same formula for Miami, but maybe you can learn a little bit.
But you have to build a basis like anything else. I'm a firm believer in that. You came up with a great idea. I give you credit for your great idea, but maybe that's something we could use. I could use myself, and I think that's where we got to get out of those things where my way is the only way, and no one else can contribute to that way. But I really glad to hear you say that you're going to invest, inviting those other countries and other regions of our country in to talk about what they're doing in their areas, and maybe we can incorporate that here.
Yeah, and another element of our work is also how do we provide a platform for local actors, for local entrepreneurs, for local nonprofits that are doing the work, right? I got really involved, and when I say involved, it's like I had to fight so we can do the things right for Climate Week Miami. So Climate Week Miami in 2024 was coming to Miami with this huge lineup of regional and global speakers. I'm like, wait a minute. You cannot keep using Miami as this international platform stage and not highlight the work that people are doing in climate for decades. I can give you a whole list of organizations: Miami Waterkeepers, the Clio Institute, Seaworthy Collective, Clean Miami Beach, that have been doing this work for many, many, many years, and they deserve that platform. And
fighting that good fight.
Exactly. And so, yes, let's collaborate, but yes, bring those regional, global leaders, but also with local leaders combined so that we can create solutions, right? That's what we say. We co-create, we co-develop solutions.
I like that. I really like that. I got to use co a lot more often than I do now. So, your mission is to advance a sustainability agenda and co-develop solutions to make South Florida a sustainable region for all. And you mentioned a lot about how you're trying to do that. I guess my question would be this: is as you continue to develop those ideals, getting more and more folks involved. How has that challenge been for you? I understand some of the things you said you want to do, and as well as your conference that you're going to do in October. But how are you getting that message out constantly? Because we got to do it more than just those 1 or 2 days for a conference. This is a year-round thing, and particularly here in South Florida where we live.
So we have different strategies. The most successful strategy we've had is the young people. We work with a lot of young people. So when I say young people, it's because we're developing the next generation of sustainability leaders. But for example, we've had, commissioners come to our programs, one of them Generation Civic with FIU and Miami-Dade College. And I remember one commissioner said, you know what? When young people call my office or send me an email or send me a letter, I respond to them quickly, because I know how committed they're going to be with this community. So young people for us is key, right? We provide all the opportunities. The other thing is that we continually create programs where we invite others to collaborate. So again, the Planet Positive 2030 program that I told you about, it's about creating synergies and inviting communities to collaborate. So in October, doing Florida Climate Week, which is presented by Volo Foundation, we're planning a second convening. And it's precisely to do that. It's going to be a platform for all individuals, startups, nonprofits to come and present what they're working on. And then as a group, as a community, we're going to connect the dots. So who's working where, on what issues, with which communities, how can we partner together, and making sure that if we don't have you on the list, we're asking our partners.
Well,
Are
I
we
hope to be a
forgetting?
part of that. I would
Of
love to
course,
be a
you're
part
the
of
first
that.
one on the list, and we're asking like if we don't know someone and they need to be here, let us know so we can send an invitation.
Okay.
And our partner for that is Miami-Dade College, the Earth Ethics Institute, and a global organization called IEEE, which is the largest technological organization that use technology to advance humanity. So we have really good partners that are committed to invest in Miami with resources with tech tools, with AI, all those things that I'm not really good at, but things that
I'm with you.
I'm not good at. I have the partners to help me, create this sustainable and resilient and equitable Miami for all.
All right, good. So, tell me a little bit about the Sustainability Dialogue series. I love to talk. So, when you talk about, as soon as I saw Sustainability Dialogue series, I'm okay, boom, 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 I got to click on that. So, please tell me a little bit about that dialogue
So
series.
those we started in 2022, I believe, because we want, as a Latina, Hispanic Heritage Month was coming up. So we wanted to do something, right? Being an immigrant and a Latina, we realized that sustainability, climate change, systemic solutions is not a conversation that Latinos are having, even in Miami. They're probably because they don't know the impact of the climate crisis. They don't know, understand the science. So we started that dialogue series to precisely have those conversations. And what we did is we did events throughout Miami and even in Boca, right? We used universities to invite the community. So one of them, we highlighted Latino entrepreneurs that were doing, climate action activities like recycling. So we invited Lady Green Miami Recycling, a small startup. We also had Seaworthy Collective presenting on what they're working on, which is ocean tech and the blue economy. We wanted to expose Latinos, whether they're in schools and colleges or in the community, that sustainable is also an industry. Sustainability is also an industry that you can make money. There's nothing wrong with making money and making a profit as long
I
as
agree
you're,
with you.
responsible and you conserve the environment and you provide opportunities to uplift people. So that's why we hosted those dialogue series based on sustainability and using the SDGs as this connecting the dots element, so that they can see, yes, I can be an entrepreneur and solve a climate crisis issue right in my community or around the world.
At the same time, especially in living here, I'm with you. We don't talk about climate change, climate gentrification, the effects of weather on our area enough. Yeah, we prepare for hurricane season every year, but are we actually talking about how we can get better at it, be more sustainable, how we can, I don't want to say fight it, but how we can adapt better to the change that's coming, because it's coming. We can't, all we got to do is go look at the water
Yeah.
just a couple of miles east of here and actually see that. So it is I'm really glad to hear about that dialogue series. I hope it continues. I would love to participate. Like I said, I love running my mouth, so I love to participate in things like that. So we've been talking to Scarlett about her mission and her organization, Accountable Impact. She's going to give her contact information here in a second. But as we come to the end of our podcast, I got one question that I ask everyone, and here's the question. So, if I gave you all the power in the world, what would you do with it?
Okay. I can answer so many things, but I'm going to say one and the reason why. Okay. I would love to have the power of creating a global PSA, a public service announcement, about the SDGs in all languages and what they mean, so that we can educate the entire community, the entire global community, right? But also because it's a way to, engage people on any issues that they're passionate about or any solution that they're passionate about. With that global PSA that talks about, economic growth, environmental protection, and social progress, I think we can really impact the world.
Oh, so thank you very much. So, it's interesting. I ask every guest that same question, and every guest talks about what they would do with their power as far as helping us globally or locally. How would that help the people? And I really think that's very, very interesting. Granted, we always have nonprofits on for this particular podcast, but I think it's so interesting that all of them always talk about their environment, how they can help others around, in their neighborhoods and around their particular cities. I really think that's so cool. Not one time has anyone done anything personal. Everybody's talked about what they would do in order to help our environment and help the people. So I'm really glad. Thank you, Scarlett. Thank for being our guest today. We've had Scarlett Lanzas, founder and CEO of Accountable Impact. Please give us your website and your contact information.
Very simple, accountableimpact.org. You can reach me at scarlett@accountableimpact.org. And happy to connect with anyone. We work with everyone in the community, right? Whether you're private, public, academia, faith leader, we need you. We need you to do this work.
So as we just talked about, all the partnerships that are involved, they're not trying to do it alone. They need all of us to participate. All of you, please get in touch with Scarlett. Let's lack of a better word, let's overwhelm her organization so we can build partnerships to talk about the 17 SDGs and become very, very much a sustainable Miami, which is what we all want. We want to thank you for joining the Just Economy podcast. I'm your host, Cornell Cruz Jr., Executive Director of the Community Reinvestment Alliance of Florida. We look forward to seeing you next time, and have a great day.